Hello and welcome back to my channel, Chronicles of Country Crafter. This is going to be part, I have no idea at this point, of finishing all my whips. So at the end of 2025, I was down to like about a half a dozen projects. I had to finish I had the hexagon cardigan, which is sitting over here, that I needed to finish. I hadn't gotten a lot done on it by the end of 2026, so that needed to be finished. I needed to finish the Tunisian block blanket. That is going to be a separate video all on its own. So that will be hopefully coming, maybe the video right after this one, I'm not sure. Then I have this little stuffed horse that I started at this point 18 and a half years ago. I started this project. Editor's note here quick. I apparently cannot do math because it wasn't 18 and a half years ago. It's more like 9 and a half. I can even remember what I was doing at one point when I was working on this all those years ago. I was in college and I was helping out at a madrigal dinner performance in coat check, and I was just hanging out in the room during the performance between people checking their coats in and then coming to get them after the performance, and I worked on this. And then I have not worked on it since. This has been a project for so long, it needs to be finished. I'm going to finish it in this video. Another project was this like rolling briefcase bag insert. This is one that I've kind of semi-set aside for the moment until I can kind of figure out what I want to do with it, how I want it to work. So this maybe we'll work on in this video. This might get saved for later. I think that's all the ones I still have going. I think any of the others that I had going, I have already finished. I may or may not have filmed any of it. In today's video, we're gonna work on this horse and the hexagon cardigan. Some of the footage you will see is before this sitting down of recording the intro because I am super not organized when it comes to filming stuff. So I'm going to start my progress with the hexagon cardigan. I didn't film a lot of this because the construction is pretty simple. You can get this pretty much anywhere on the internet probably. And it's just the same thing over and over again. Granny stitches as you work around the hexagon. I didn't think it was worth really filming a whole lot of that. So with just this little bit of me working on it, we are going to actually jump to once I have both panels done, because then things get a little bit more interesting. All right, both of the hexagons are basically done. There's a few little things left to do on them yet. One thing that needs to be done yet is I need to get the side seams up on the sleeves on both sides. I did at this point in filming and working on it run out of yarn, and so I have to get another skein to make it all the way over to the corner so that way I can actually finish it. It is still getting really close, but a couple little things yet need to be done before we can really start putting it together. So with the panels, I am creating a wider back so that way there's more space in the back and then it ends up sitting more open because I will be putting a collar on the front. But the sleeves turned out really bulky and like really wide, and I'm not sure I like that. So what I want to do is actually I want to make it taper down so it's a smaller cuff on the end. So I will have to figure that out. I want to make it a little longer because it's a little short on me right now. only took me an hour to do 4 legs.
But ultimately, I don't think it's anything worth getting up in arms about. Upon closer inspection, it looks like Whiff has eyeliner too. So Whiff may also be female now. Hard to say right now. Next to Charlie is Scruffy. We saw Scruffy in the motorized range before Toy Fair, and his diecast looks pretty much the same as then. I'm happy to see Scruffy again. I'm really curious what they're going to do with him in this show.
All right, I have the lower body and the upper body made. They still need to be stuffed, but I think I'm going to finish making all of the different parts and then start stuffing them and sewing them. Excuse me. But I think I'm going to get all of the parts made first, and then once they're all made, I'm going to then stuff them and do all of the stuffing and sewing all together in one go, so I don't have bits of stuffing just sticking out of some of these areas. All right. The last parts I have to make for this are the upper legs. So I have got 4 of those to make. I think I'm just going to go ahead and just jump in and just start working on those. See if I can get those done today. I should be able to, because I don't think there's that much left. Maybe I can actually finish this today. We'll see. 1 down, 3 to go. That one didn't take me too long, so hopefully the rest I can get done in the next half hour or so. All right, and that is all 4 of the upper legs. Now let's see if we can quick do the ears, and all of the parts will be made. And let's see. Done. Okay, stop my timer. All right. All right, so I now have all the different parts of the amigurumi horse made. Now it's time for stuffing and sewing. Before I do that, I'm going to take a break because I am getting a little tired and I need to stretch and do something different before I give myself a headache from too much close-up work. So I might finish this tomorrow, but I will finish it in this video. All right, well, that is 2 more projects done. I finished this little amigurumi horse, which I started this in college. So I would have started it back in like 2017, and now it's 2026, and I finally finished this little guy. It's not the best. It's a little wonky. I probably could have done better, but I was at the point where I just need to get him done. Looking at him, he really reminds me a little bit of the horse from the Nancy Drew game, Secret of Shadow Ranch. So I'm going to call this little guy Bob after that horse from Secret of Shadow Ranch Nancy Drew game. I'll put a picture up here. Maybe you don't think it looks like the same thing, but it does remind me of Bob, so I'm going to call him Bob. So I think he's just going to kind of hang out here when I'm doing these intros and outros, and sometimes when I'm crocheting here. He can just hang out there in the background. I also now have this hexagon cardigan done. I will say I am actually a little bit surprised with how it ended up turning out, because partway through I was not sure if I was going to actually like it. I was having a lot of trouble with the sleeves. I'd done part of a sleeve and then I didn't like it. I got down to the cuff and I didn't like it. I pulled it all out. So I ended up doing the collar and bottom edging, got that done and came back to the sleeve, figured it out, and I actually do like how it turned out. I added the snaps that you saw, which I did not film any of the sewing of those on, but I put those on just to give it a little bit more of a closed look feel, so it has a little bit of a slimmer look to it. At least I think it looks has a slimmer look with it closed like that versus a really chunky baggy type cardigan. But I'm really happy how it worked and came out. Another thing I also did is I actually took a little bit of the thread and I actually kind of tacked down with a needle and thread the edge here of the collar portion where I'd steamed it to lay like this, just so hopefully it'll be more likely to stay that way. So also, if whenever I do actually wash this, if the blocking part comes out, it's a little bit easier to get it back to blocked the way I wanted it before, because it is tacked down on both sides where it kind of opens all the way out down at the bottom. Well, I think that's it for this video. If you liked this video, please feel free to hit the like button. And if you want to keep up with what I've been working on, all of the different random projects I'm doing, finishing all of these projects, starting new projects, I'm hoping to do a couple like simple tutorial videos. I've got 2 projects planned that I want to do a tutorial style video. So if you want to keep track of what I'm doing, feel free to hit the subscribe button. But until next time, God bless.